Our second speaker will be Professor Mohamed Abdelsalam Babiker. Our next distinguished guest is the true friend of Afar nation and one of the world's foremost experts of human rights. Professor Mohamed Abdelsalam Babiker served 2 consecutive terms as United Nations Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in Eritrea. He is Associated Professor of International Law at University of Khartoum and Founding Director of Human Rights Center. His expertise has been international human rights law, refugee law, humanitarian law, international criminal law. Throughout this mandate, Professor Babiker courageously documented serious human rights violations in Eritrea, giving voice to those who had long been silent. His report is recognized as Afar as one of the most marginated and persecuted communities in Eritrea, and brought international attention to their plagues, and I will thank him for that. Professor Babiker has Professor Babiker has also led numbers of international investigations through the Horn of Africa and remain respected advocate of justice, accountability, human rights, dignity. Please join me welcome our dear friend, Professor Mohamed Abdelsalam Babiker.
Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. I'm honored to be part of this discussion and this conference. It's always honor for me to talk to a conference. I remember last year I addressed the conference in Samara through online. And here I would like to thank Ahmed and his colleagues, Professor Joseph Magnet, for all the support they provided for the mandate on Eritrea for the last 6 years. Particularly, as you are aware, the context in Eritrea is very difficult in terms of not being able to visit Eritrea and also to investigate the human rights situation in the country. So for the last 6 years, I was not able to visit the country, to be able to meet people, to investigate crimes and to visit prisons, and to be able also to engage with the Eritrean government. And actually, given this difficulty in this context, I have to rely on my Eritrean friends, civil society organizations, independent sources, families, victims, experts, people of knowledge, because reporting on human rights and investigation is one of the very difficult tasks to be offered for a mandate. And in order to preserve the integrity and the independence of reporting, it is very important for the mandate to sustain itself as an independent voice for victims of many Eritreans who continue to suffer violations for the last since independence. In my last report, just presented to the Human Rights Council in June, on the 15th of June. Unfortunately, I concluded that crimes against humanity committed, in particular, with regard to enforced disappearance and arbitrary detention for many Eritreans who remain in jail without charge or trial, or also without their families being able to know their whereabouts. And under international law, this fits squarely within the definition of Convention on Disappearance. And I presented my report also on issues related to the situation of prisons. And I detailed, with the support of my sources, various sources, meeting former detainees. I managed to detail the prison conditions in Eritrea, and also update all the previous informations included as part of the Commission of Inquiry report presented in 2016. So now, for the last 10 years, there is no any progress in the context of human rights in Eritrea, and remains very dire. Regarding the mandate, also I dedicated specific sections and reports related to the Afar indigenous people, in particular issues related to discrimination, persecution, arbitrary detention, enforced disappearance, marginalization faced by the indigenous Afar people, and also access to resources, access to land, access to their fishery rights. And actually, here I would like to indicate that there is during the last 3 decades, there is like serious impact, very profound impact on the Afar people, in particular with regard to their human rights, cultural rights, right to land, and also their right to natural resources. And this actually left many Afar in a very dire situation with regard to their rights as and also their entitlement. Here I would like also to shift and divert to just focus on some issues related to the theme of this conference. In particular, federalism, equality, self-governance, and democracy. And for me, it is always difficult to talk after Professor Magnet related to constitutional issues, but here I would like to reflect on some issues related to this is very important thematic area related to how the Afar people will be able to participate in any democratic and constitutional governance, any federal arrangements or any regional self-government, how human rights and rule of law also will be maintained, and how the constitutional framework in Eritrea, in which Eritrea will be able to maintain equality between different nationalities. And also how peaceful political transition will take place. What mentioned by Professor Magnet raises a lot of critical and and also controversial issues with regard to transition in fragile post-conflict or post-war or post-dictatorship or authoritarian regimes. And here I would like to share some thoughts. Professor Magnet refers to Sudan, now currently in a situation of war. And I used to participate. Part of the revolution took place in 2018. And it was a revolution in which nature was so peaceful. People continue to demonstrate in the streets, in the capital and in the peripheries, and then engulf the whole of Sudan. And people resorted not to use violence. And the revolution continued from December 2018 until the collapse of Bashir regime in April, 6th of April 2019. So people continued to demonstrate peacefully, to also constantly work on the political agenda for the transition, including the future vision for Sudan post the collapse of Bashir regime. And I was part of this transition. I used to advise as a legal advisor for a political a civic movement called FFC, Freedom of Change movement. We work on a constitutional document. I was part of the negotiations during the first period of these negotiations, which led to a partnership. There is some deficiencies in this constitutional framework because it was like actually a partnership between the military and the civilians. It sets out a transitional period for 4 years. Then Sudan will move from dictatorship towards democratization and free election. The vision was actually clear for civil movements. There is a huge support from international community after the revolution because Sudanese managed to change the military dictatorship through peaceful demonstration rather than through the guns. 1 year after the revolution, a military coup took place. And another year, then those who instigated the coup started to have a power struggle between themselves. And then this led to the current war. And it is, in my view, it's a counter-revolutionary war. It is not like a civil war, as depicted by many scholars and commentators and in the media. It is strictly a revolutionary, counter-revolutionary war against Sudanese try to move towards a democratic Sudan. And this is also war and the coup supported by also foreign interference, international actors and also regional actors. And the reason I'm saying this because Eritrea is not far; it is part of the whole. And here it is an opportunity for me to share insights. And during the mandate, my mandate is very limited to human rights violations. But sometimes, actually, I think about Eritrea post Isias regime or Isias government, how a consensus will be created among the lowlanders, the highlanders, and also the Afar people, divided in different 3 nations. how you create a consensus, whether you have a change of government through a revolution or through armed struggle or through transformation or through transplantation within the regime. But the challenge would be how to work out a successful transition so that it will lead to a democratic, peaceful Eritrea governed by rule of law and democratic institutions. And as part of my own reporting, for the past 6 years, I reported on the lack of independent judiciary, independent institutions of governance, and lack of civil society, and also lack of media. And this we need to reflect on this reality, because here Eritrea, after independence, never experienced a democratic society, and this is it is important for Eritreans, including the Afar, to from now to work on options on what kind of constitutional arrangements could be agreed upon during the transition and also post the transition, when you have free election and democratic transformation. Given these very complicated realities, and also given the geopolitical dynamics in the region. The Afar people have access to the sea, and the geopolitical dynamics now in the region and globally indicates that internal stability, democratization is affected by external powers. And this is an important dimension we need to look at, not only to look at our internal politics, but also to look at our global and regional politics. I believe Eritreans are very resilient, are very courageous, went through a liberation war, suffered constant and sustained violations, including crimes against humanity. But I believe that they will be able to make their own future, provided that they have a vision in place and also able to move forward with regard to how they will be able to agree their own differences, find a constitutional formula, and in order to be able to address issues related to democratization, rule of law, federalism, internal self-determination, and all these complicated issues which will face any nascent state in our current reality in the region. Finally, I would like to thank you for allowing me this opportunity and to share some thoughts. And also, I repeat, I am very honored to be part of the human rights mandate by the Human Rights Council. To remain one of the key mandate, at least for now, to give many Eritreans, victims and families, the voice that independent reporting and independent verification and documentation through an international organization, so that people will be able to know the actual human rights situation in the country. I hope the situation will be improving, and I hope also for my successor to be able to work and support the Eritrean people. And I'm quite sure that Eritrean organizations, civil society organizations, will work towards the support of this mandate. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Babiker.
Thank you so much, Professor
We
Mohamed
are
Abdelsalam Babiker, for this beautiful presentation, and we really thank you on behalf of Eritrean people. What you have done is not, it's remarkable. It will always be in the heart of Eritreans. And
personally, thank you, Dr. Babiker, for your hard work, for what you have done, and not just for Afar, but the entire Eritrean population that have no voice, and have been counting on your reporting year after year. And we are so grateful for your work. And like you said in our last conference in Samara, you know, Port Sudan is just a stone throw away from Dankalia. Inshallah, we will visit each other when this regime is gone, and we want to continue that friendship for a long time to come, inshallah. Thank you very much.